where the impetus is shame, other really good motivators that I think are better motivators than discipline, it's better to pursue an affirmative than a negative. And it's at that moment, at the very bottom, you're not more lit up than you were a year ago. You're just, that's a bad system. Don't ever use a system like that. What you should be doing is Hey everybody, I'm Alexis. So I want to talk to you about why discipline sucks, basically. I think a lot of times we like set a goal and then we don't reach it, and then we chalk it up to like, oh, I'm just not disciplined enough, or I don't have enough willpower, or there's something wrong with me. And I just want to say that shame and talking, like self-punishment, like punishing yourself with that sort of self-talk, is not the way to get there. People don't get where they want to be by doing a bunch of things that they hate and just punishing themselves through the years and really just like sticking to this awful thing for years and years and years, and then suddenly they become successful. Like, that's just not how it works. And if you're not getting the things done that you want to get done, maybe you should like question why you're not getting them done. And it probably doesn't have to do with discipline. Like, my philosophy is that it doesn't take discipline to do what you love. They're just things that are fun. Like, I don't have to force myself to watch Gilmore Girls, you know what I mean? And so I want to just, I don't know, kind of provide a framework for maybe why you might not be reaching your goals. And there are a lot of other reasons that it could be besides discipline. Okay, so first off, I want to talk about the word discipline. And the word discipline actually comes from like when you discipline your child, or it's like part of a punishment to try to like beat into submission. And when you talk about self-discipline, you're basically trying to beat yourself into submission. And I definitely think that people should work hard and that people should have good habits that serve them in the long run. And there is something to be said for delayed gratification, and we're not just here for like fun all the time. But you shouldn't have to be punishing yourself all the time. And a lot of people who are the most disciplined are doing things that they don't really love. And I think it's really important to come into alignment with what you really love and then go all after it. Okay, so I want to talk about a few counterintuitive things that discipline teaches you that I don't think you should actually do. The first thing is that discipline teaches you determination, keep going no matter what. But in the book The Dip by Seth Godin, he actually talks about winners quit very often. What they do is that they try something out, learn a few things, quit. Try something out, learn a few things, quit. Try something out, learn a few things, quit. And then they get to the thing that they do not quit, and then they do not stop, and they show determination then. And I think by just adopting this mindset that I need to be disciplined and I'm not reaching my goals, and it's because I'm not disciplined, that doesn't take into account that maybe you haven't found the thing yet, especially if you're very young and you haven't set up your priorities. I think a lot of young people have not set up their priorities. They're just kind of chasing what everyone else tells them to do. But you need to find your focus, and once you find the thing, you go after it with determination. And he has this graph, it's kind of like the Dunning-Kruger effect, where at the beginning you think you're really awesome, you've got great motivation, and then as you do something for a little bit, you're like, oh wow, this is actually a lot of hard work and this kind of sucks. And it's at that moment, at the very bottom, that you have to decide, do I like this enough to stick through this thing? Does this align with my long-term vision so I should keep going and develop the discipline? Or is this something where I should not use discipline, I should just quit because it's just gonna flatline? Is it something that for me personally, I'm not going to find long-term enjoyment? So I think that kind of leads me to my second thing. You need to figure out what your highest value in life is. Some people really value family or joy or peace or career or freedom or self-improvement, tons of different values. For example, if your highest value is joy, then when you make decisions, you need to say to yourself, is this bringing me current or future joy? And if it's bringing you one of those two things, then do it. And if it's not bringing you one of those two things, then what the heck are you doing? And so if your highest value is joy, for example, what are you doing spending all your time with self-punishment? Because that's what self-discipline is. It's self-punishment. And day after day, you're doing it, but hating it. Like, that's not adding up to a joyful life. Anything that is where the impetus is shame, that's a bad system. Don't ever use a system like that. What you should be doing is using a system that makes you feel like the most you. Not something where you have to beat your real self out of you, but something that when you do it, it lights you up and you feel like the most like yourself. So I think it's really important to, in this order, figure out what is fun for you, figure out what your priorities are, and then where those two things intersect, that is what you should be disciplined in. But you should not get that order backwards, because a lot of people think, I will be disciplined for a while, and then once I finally reach this goal, then I will have fun. And that just doesn't work out, because those types of people create a habit in themselves that once they reach a goal, then they have another one, and then they have another one, and by the end of their life, then they're not really happy. So you have to enjoy the process. And if you really want joy in your life, you better have joy in the process. And if you set up a life like this, you just have so much fun. The entire process is just fun thing after fun thing after fun thing, where you're figuring out more of what lights you up. And as you are going through the process and reaching your goals, you're just more lit up the whole time. You're just more lit up. And then every time you're around other people, you just light them up when you're around them. Because what you have yourself, you give away. And so if you are just constantly like, Alexis, you should have done this, you should have done this. When you're around other people, you give that culture away to them. And when you're hard on yourself, you unconsciously give that away to other people and you feel critical of them as well. If you put discipline above all the other things, if discipline is your highest priority above joy and peace and all the other really good motivators that I think are better motivators than discipline, you live a life where you might actually not enjoy the things that you're doing and you work really hard, but you come home and at the end of the day, you're tired. And at the end of the year, you've been really busy and you've gotten a lot done, but you haven't done the right things. And a year later, you're still not really more the person that you want to be. You're not having more fun than you had a year ago. You're not more lit up than you were a year ago. You're just a little more jaded. And I think when you just continue with like the discipline year after year after year, it makes you jaded and weary and tired. And then, you know, that affects the people around you. You can't like kill yourself without it affecting the people around you. So I know what it feels like to like not reach a goal and feel the shame of not reaching the goal. And you're like, oh, if only I was more self-disciplined. If you can get this in your head and really understand that it is okay to quit at things that don't light you up, and then to go in the pursuit of doing things that light you up day after day after day and doing those habits, you light up the world around you and you're just such a more fun person. You reach your goals faster and in such a more joyful way and you're enjoying the process, and it's just like stride after stride after stride, and it feels like you're making gains. And it doesn't feel, discipline just feels like there's a whip behind you. Get going, get going, get going, and you're just on this hamster wheel. It feels like there's this whip. And it's just so much more fun to actually enjoy the process and to pursue joy and freedom as opposed to not being lazy. You know what I mean? It's better to pursue an affirmative than a negative. Like, it's better to pursue joy than it is to pursue not lazy or not shame. And like I said, I think habits are so important as long as you have your priorities straight and you have them set in the right order. But I just don't want you to feel shame for anything that you've done. You know what I mean? Like, if you made a mistake or you feel like you're lazy, just like analyze why. Like, why didn't I get that done? And is there something about it that I don't love? And really figure out you. I mean, when you can figure out what you love, you can be in overflow more often and you can give better to other people. So I think it's really important to figure out what you love and then really go after it until you can figure out, am I in the part of the dip where I need to keep going or am I not? And I think if something lights you up, but you go through that period where it's hard and a lot of work, you'll know. You'll know deep down in your gut that this is something to shoot for. Yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed that. It's kind of a random discipline video. So I do coaching. If you are interested in doing any coaching, I do personal development, personality, goal setting, self-improvement, things like that. So have a great day. Don't be so hard on yourself. Self-punishment is not the answer. Have a great day. Bye.